How do black people gross $1 trillion and yet we don't have one single self-sustaining black community in the entire United States of America? Why do half of black Christians still have a white Jesus hanging up on their wall? This is the science of white supremacy, political science, understanding how the world operates. How is Africa the most minerally rich continent on the face of the earth, but the people are in the poorest condition? How can you be dead broke, sleeping on ground with diamonds underneath you? There's reasons for all this, and they're going to be taught that. Because a lot of our schools teach a lot of our African-centered schools teach black children their history, but they don't teach them political science. So they know everything about slavery, everything about ancient Egypt, you understand? Mm-hmm. But what do they know about the world now? What do they know about Obama, and why was Obama elected? I'll tell you why Obama was elected. 2 reasons. One domestic, one foreign. Every president is given a foreign mandate and a domestic mandate. Something you must change internationally, something you must change locally. Obama's international mandate was to infiltrate Africa with AFRICOM, put United States military bases in every major mineral deposit area on the continent so that America could control Africa's resources. And if anybody tries to threaten America's control of Africa's resources, America would manufacture a terrorist cell with the CIA, because what they do is they go and pay people to act like they terrorists. Oh yes, this is how the CIA operates. So they could go in and make Africa safe for democracy as they steal all the diamonds and oil and coltan and silver. Okay, so that was the foreign mandate. Recolonize Africa. He done that. What's the domestic mandate? Make homosexuality, LBGTism, transgenderism totally accepted by black people by the time he left office. America had a problem. We need to get rid of these Negroes. And one of the best ways to do it is to brainwash their children into LBGT relationships so they don't procreate and have more children. How can we do this? Because black people historically are not a pro-homo people. They've always had homosexuals and lesbians, but it was never a mainstream option in the black community to be open and gay. If you were gay, you kept it to yourself and you moved on. That was the code. How do we break that code down and make it acceptable to people who ain't into that? I know what we're going to do. We're going to put a black president in office. And while black people are so drunk on Obama juice, so happy and self-esteem thrilled by the fact that a half black man is in the White House, we're going to give that half black man a homosexual agenda. And while black people are celebrating him for being black, they'll be totally blind to the homosexual agenda that he's pushing forward. And by the time he leaves office, the LBGT culture will have thoroughly colonized, conquered, and overtaken the black civil rights agenda. It has happened. When Obama ran for president the first time, what did he say? He said, I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. If anybody proves me wrong, I got $1 million for you. He ran and said marriage is between a man and a woman his first term. And all of a sudden now, he's for gay marriage. First president in American history to openly be for it when you ran against it your first term. Did he have a change of heart? Hell no. That was the setup and the takeover. If you don't understand white supremacy, anything else you see will fool you. And Negroes are being fooled by Hillary and Trump and Bernie right now. You know what you're going to get the next 8 years? The same nonsense you got the last 8 years. If your behavior don't change, your oppressor's behavior doesn't change either.
Okay.
The mistake that black people are making, family, is they actually believe that there's a difference for them in the candidates. Understand, the Negro agenda, whether it's Clinton, Trump, Sanders, Obama, Bush, Washington, Jefferson, don't matter. The Negro agenda is the same regardless of who gets elected to the White House. Nothing will be different. It's the illusion of inclusion that has black people thinking that if Hillary goes in, she'll be better than Trump. Or if Bernie goes in, he'll be better than Hillary. All three of them are going to do the exact same thing because the Negro agenda is not the white agenda. Now, white folks can discuss certain things. Policies will differ, whether it's Republican or Democrat. You okay? But for black folks, it's absolutely the same. They're going to continue the extermination, campaign, the public school shutdown campaign, the abortion campaign, the LBGT campaign, the poverty campaign. Nothing gonna stop, because the goal for America for blacks today is extermination. Slavery was oppression. This is extermination. We're getting rid of you Negroes. We never wanted you, and you have overstayed your welcome, and you wasn't even smart enough to build up yourself knowing we don't want you, so that when the time comes for us to get rid of you, you would be able to do something about it. We got the Mexicans coming in. We don't need you. They work for half the money and they less trouble. Goodbye. Black people bought into post-racialism under Obama. Worst thing happened to us in the past 20 years was President Obama. Why do I say that? Because had anybody else been president, you would have still had your racial consciousness. You would have still had your political consciousness. But because it was Obama, because it was a black, you said we got to give him a pass. But they killing your sons. I know, but we got to give Obama a pass. You let our children suffer so one Negro, one bougie Negro who don't even care about you, can be successful in office. And guess who's going to pay for this? Our grandkids going to pay for this. My daughters are 4 and 14. They got to pay for this. Their children are going to pay for this ignorance. He the first president black people never required anything of. Do you realize that? 44 presidents. He the first one where black people ask nothing of him. So do you know what that means for the next president? You can ask nothing of them either. Oh, it's downhill from here. And it's all our fault. I'm not even going to blame Obama, because I like Jesse and Sharpton. When they ran for president, they said they was running for black folks. Obama never said he was running for you. We projected our Jesus complex on him and made him some kind of savior. Are you following me? He never got on the interview and said, I'm going to change something in black America. He ain't never said that. He don't even like being black. Hates that black blood. He was raised by
Why do you say that?
He was raised by white racist grandparents. And in his book, his words, he said that he never chose, I'm paraphrasing, he never chose to be black. He was made to be black. They kept on reminding him that he was black. If Obama could pass for white, he would have passed for white. Have you noticed that whenever he mentions black men, it's only to deride black men and disrespect black men? He ain't never had nothing positive to say about black men. Obama don't like us. Obama is a white man in beige clothing. Zimmerman got off like all the other cops because Negroes followed Obama into this post-racial society. Race don't matter in America. You're still just as broke as you was before Obama got elected. You still don't own nothing like it was before Obama got elected. But y'all let this Negro, we let him brainwash us into believing into a post-racial society. You know what that means? When Zimmerman murdered Trayvon, that meant that race as a motive, because he should have been tried for a hate crime. That should have been a hate crime, and every police murder should have been a hate crime. None of them were. They said, well, maybe race had nothing to do with this. Since when does race have nothing to do with a black being murdered by a white? We've been getting murdered by white folks since slavery. How does race have nothing to do with it? Because we have a black president, and we live in a post-racial society, and even black people were starting to say that American society has changed. Yeah. And the minute you let up your push, white supremacy came back 50 times harder. You see Obama's last term? This whole last term has been the return of white aggressive racism like you've never seen before. It feels like we in the 60s again. The white man is a brilliant devil. He's a brilliant devil. Outthinking Negroes. And you know why he keeps outthinking Negroes? Because we want to be accepted by white folks. You know why we so happy Obama became president? It's not that he became president. It's that his presidency symbolizes to the average black person that white people are beginning to accept us. Our whole life is about acceptance. What happened when not a single black actor was nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars? Okay, what happened? The black actors went off. Why are you going off? This is a white awards program. If you want a Best Black Actor, why don't you start a black awards program? You don't want that. You want to be validated by your enemy, which makes you a fool. And they got black, and then they brainwashed Negroes into accepting the Latino takeover. And I'm not criminalizing Latinos. They're just being used by the government. It's not anything personal against them. It could be any group of people, but they get you to fall for what the takeover, what they're doing, by feeding you multiculturalism. This is all one rainbow nation. You got to be stop talking about slavery. That's over with. You need to join ranks with the Asians and the Arabs and the Latinos and the gays and the white women and the physically handicapped and the hunchback and people with 2 fingers and people with 3 toes. And y'all need to unite as one minority people. There's only one problem with that. Everybody else came here of their own free will. There's only one problem with that. They didn't build America. We did. There's only one problem with that. Every last one of those groups have been given systematic privileges and supports to help them get a foot up in this country. We never got one. So how do you blend the black agenda in with everyone else? How can we be one color amongst a much larger rainbow when you never see the color black in any rainbow?
That's right.
Illusion of inclusion. Harriet, illusion of inclusion. Black people want to be included, so white people give you illusions. Harriet Tubman is another illusion. We're going to put a Negro on a 20. Look at it. We're going to put an ancestor of yours on money, but we ain't going to give you none of the money to build a reality for yourself. As you put Harriet on the 20, you killing black folks. As you put Harriet on the 20, you mass incarcerating black men. As you put Harriet on the 20, black women have the highest infant mortality rate in the Western world. As you put Harriet on the 20, black kids are being miseducated. So why are you putting Harriet on the 20? Because when a new president come in office, we're going to kill y'all even more than what we doing now. So putting Harriet on the 20 is a propaganda technique to give the illusion that we are accepting black people more when all we doing is exterminating black people more.
It was just like you just said, they're gonna go one day and have pictures of black people like, yeah, they used to be here. Look, she's on the 20. She's on the 20. Look, they used to really be here.
Classic military science, classic white supremacy. Before you take, you must give. Are you following me? We're about to take black people's civil rights away, so we have to give them a black president. We're about to exterminate black folks even worse now than we've been doing, so let's give them an ancestor on a $20 bill. You see that? You must cover up the wrong with the right. This is classic racism. That's why we always say when you study black history in America, every time we take one step forward, we take 5 backwards. They give, and then they take. Atlanta is now the AIDS capital of the world. Ain't this the city we was told was the new black Mecca? Move to Atlanta. There's nothing but opportunity for blacks in Atlanta. Yeah, right. Right around the corner from the Center for Disease Control. Is that a coincidence that the city with the highest AIDS rate for black folk, the new Mecca, is in the same city with the Center for Disease Control? The same center that helps spread AIDS, Ebola, West Nile, and everything else. So remember they had the Atlanta child murders? They still don't know who did that. I know who did it. The Center for Disease Control did it.
What's the biggest misconception that you think people have about you?
They think I hate gay people. They think I hate white people. They think that I preach separation, which I don't. Black people are already separated. Why do I have to be a separatist? You are already separated. You ain't nowhere in the banks. You ain't nowhere in the real estate. You ain't nowhere making the power decisions. You ain't nowhere in the U.S. Senate. You ain't in the Supreme Court. Well, 1 or 2 token Negroes, but you're already segregated. If America really believes in integration, give me political economic integration. Where's my share of the banks? Where's my share of the wealth? Where's my share of the gas stations? Where's my share of the hospitals? If the white man really wants to be integrated, let's integrate. But don't give me social integration. We can go to the hospital. We can go to the hotel. We can date white women. We can go get some pizza together. We can sit on the same toilet. That's social integration. I don't care about that. I want economic integration. I want my share of America's wealth that is rightly mine because my ancestors built this country. You don't let me out of slavery and say I'm free. Freedom does not mean the absence of chains. Freedom is the ability to do for yourself what the white person can do for themselves. And unless you can sit here and tell me that as black men and black women, we are not in any way, shape, or form systematically disadvantaged by virtue of being African, then we not free. Freedom is not what's on paper. Freedom is what you live. What black person in America can say that they free when at any second you can be stopped and murdered by a policeman? No different than a slave could be by a slave tracker 300 years ago. This ain't freedom. Well, it is freedom. F-R-E-E-D-U-M-B. 40 million free dumbass Negroes who fail to recognize that if you don't do something for yourself, you won't be around. There'll be a museum. the Museum of African Life, where they'll talk about what we used to look like. They'll have shell-top Adidas in there. They have some weaves. They have a white woman, a basketball, a video game. And they say, once upon a time, we had these people who lived here, but they died off for mysterious reasons. We don't know what happened to them. Oh, you can become extinct. Don't forget, the British exterminated the Grimaldi people. Excuse me, not the Grimaldis. The Grimaldi was the first in Europe. The Tasmanians, small little island off the coast of Australia. A group of Africans lived there called Tasmanians. The British exterminated every single one. The Herero people in Southwest Africa, close to Namibia. The Germans exterminated nearly every one. So black people walking around talking about, my Lord, my Jesus is going to see to it that nothing other happens to me. You have cultures of black folks who no longer exist, totally wiped out by whites. And if you don't think they could wipe out 40 million Negroes who don't own nothing, you better wake up and smell the coffee. One thing that's really going to make me different, I'm going to create the first African-centered program for autistic learners. I'm going to create the first African-centered program for intellectually impaired learners. I'm going to create the first African-centered program for blind learners, and the first African-centered program for deaf learners, and the first African-centered program for black children with serious mental illness, schizophrenia, psychotic disorder, psychoses, that type of thing. I will create the first African-centered program for black children with severe disabilities. It doesn't exist anywhere in the country. I'm going to do it first. You heard that, homeschool haters?
You heard it here first.
You ain't teaching nobody nothing. All you got is 2 incense and some shea butter. Them kids ain't learning. Let me evaluate them kids in your school and let's see how sharp they is. Keep my name out your mouth. I see you. I'm going to get you too. Wait till my school come over. I'm going to air all y'all asses out. All y'all little dusty homeschool haters. I'm going to air every last one of y'all out. Next question.
So Prince recently died, as well as
Prince was murdered by Warner Brothers to get control of all his unpublished music, just like Michael Jackson was murdered by Sony to get the Beatles catalog back, just like Jimi Hendrix was murdered because he's about to go independent, and Tupac was murdered because he's about to go independent, and Sam Cooke was murdered because he was going to finance Malcolm and Martin's civil rights movement once the two of them came together. Trying to cut the white man out of your pocket in the music industry is a recipe for early death. It's a secret society. You cannot get out. You cannot get out. Prince made a mistake when he went back to Warner Brothers. They told him, we're going to give you control of your masters back. But in exchange for that, they wanted to remaster the Purple Rain album for his 30th year anniversary. Prince gave him the rights to that. When he did that, he let them back in their life. Prince was going to separate again because they started doing the same old white stuff white people do. They never change. And they had to kill him before he totally separated. Now they still got some of that music back. And I bet you his family sells them all that unreleased material. Just like Michael Jackson's family a couple months ago, I don't know if you saw it in the news, they sold Sony Records back the Beatles catalog. They got it back. The reason Michael was killed, his family gave it back to Sony. They sold it to him. And I bet you Prince family do the same thing because they don't know what to do with it. They're not going to go to no black people in the music business and find out what they can do. They scared as hell. They're going to sell Warner Brothers back all of Prince's unreleased movie music, which is estimated. It's estimated that Prince has enough unpublished music to release an album every year for the next 100 years. They didn't kill him for the old stuff. They killed him for the new stuff. I'm not going to stop there. I have to start looking at other places because rumor has it that the only reason why I don't have that school yet is because a decision was made not to give it to me. I don't know if this is true. It cannot be proven, but a couple people have whispered to me that they think that might be the agenda, that they were told to make sure he doesn't get it, which explains why the federal government attempted to buy it twice. Or claimed to attempted to buy it twice. Why would the federal government be trying to purchase a historically black college? They've never bought any other black college. They never thought about St. Paul's, but soon when Dr. Umar Johnson passes $500,000 in fundraising money, all of a sudden the federal government wants to buy the school that Dr. Umar Johnson wants to turn into an academy for young black boys. That's what I'm talking about. Race First Renegades, the Fred Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy is coming. And you homeschoolers, stop hating on me. Okay? Stay with your homeschool and do your little school. Keep my name out your mouth. I see your Facebook posts, and all y'all gonna get it. I'm gonna handle all y'all. I see y'all little homeschool haters out there running your mouth. You just wait. I'm coming for you. And when the school is open, I'm challenging all the homeschools, all these African-centered schools. we're gonna get an academic challenge. Respectful and friendly, but we got to get an academic challenge. Because a lot of people running around acting like they're educating kids. They're not educating nobody. You just hustling. You just paying your bills off that school. You ain't really teaching nobody in there. You could fool the community, but you can't fool me, you hater. You just mad because you ain't me. But let's get back to the question.
Okay, as you probably know, the rate of autism in children has increased every year. Do you have an idea of what the cause of that is?
Oh, we absolutely know what it is. It's the immunizations. There's been researchers from the Food and Drug Administration, whistleblowers, who have exposed the fact that it is the immunizations that is triggering the autism in black children. In fact, Congressman Kennedy, I believe it was, a couple months ago, it's on YouTube. He was given research from Food and Drug Administration personnel, former personnel, showing unequivocally that the FDA knew that there was a link between black boys and autism for years and covered it up. That's coming from Congressman Kennedy, a white man.
How did your upbringing influence your career? Like,
it didn't.
Really?
I went to 3 white colleges, Millersville University in Lancaster County, PA, Lehigh University in Bethlehem, PA, Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine in PA. I went to a paramilitary elementary school in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which is the city where Frederick Douglass met John Brown before the raid. It's also the city where the grandfather Pan-Africanism Martin Delaney was raised, coincidentally. But the students were all black. We mostly came from Philly.
Okay.
But the teachers was all white. The administration was all white. It was like apartheid, right?
Okay.
My father and mother are both self-respecting African Americans, but they never gave us any particular lessons on race pride. I honestly believe that I was born to do what I'm doing. Because if you look at me on paper, I should have been a house Negro. I'm being real with you. Military school, 3 white colleges, Sunni Islamic father, Christian mom, and he's a revolutionary. My ancestors chose me to do this job. That's why I was born on the day Nat Turner led his revolt, August the 21st. That's the same day as the Haitian Revolution, August the 21st. I was sitting here by the ancestors to do this, make hell. And I ain't gonna stop till I make it.
So what was it just like one day you just woke up and you was like,
it was always
tired, like,
now let me tell you what I thought.
Okay.
I thought it kicked off in middle school or high school. But then I ran into one of my 4th grade classmates, right? Jonathan. We was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade together. I said, yo, I got down with this, He said, nah, man, you was talking that stuff in 4th grade.
Really?
I said, for real? He said, dude, I'm not shocked you doing that. You was talking that in 4th grade. I thought I started later.
Yeah.
Jonathan said, nah, you was always this, man.
So you don't remember, like, the turning point?
It could be Black History class. 4th and 5th grade, elementary school.
Okay.
We had mandatory Black History class at Meade Elementary in North Philly.
Like ethnic studies, basically.
Right.
Okay.
But none of the other classmates turned out like this, and they had that class. And then I found that I was related to Frederick Douglass in the 6th grade at my first family reunion. That might have had something to do with it.
Okay.
But I think the reason I think it's something ancestral and divine to it, most people in the conscious community, the revolutionary community, their career doesn't necessarily mesh with their community work. My school psychology meshes perfectly. You understand?
Yeah.
Because there's a war against our children, so it meshes perfectly. It's not like I'm a painter and I'm like, how did I use painting to...
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, so
yes.
It's hard to believe that there was no divine design in all of this.
Okay.
Spirit just came back to fight.
But remember, all of us are an ancestor return. You're an ancestor return. He's an ancestor return. I'm an ancestor return. We come with the mission, the assignment already encoded in our spirit. But we have to reflect within ourselves and find, what am I here for? You understand?
Correct.
I found mine early enough. You understand? Because some people are in the wrong field. And that's why a lot of people are unhappy with their life. Because that's not your mission. Yeah, you making a lot of money as a doctor, but you was really not supposed to be a doctor. You're supposed to be a social worker. You understand? Right. So you got to find your mission, and I think we're often blinded by what our true mission is because we let the money and the status outweigh our inner calling. When that intuition tells you that's God in you. In African spirituality, we believe the Creator put a little piece of herself, himself, and all of us.
Correct.
That intuition is God. You got to listen to it, but we let money drown it out. We let education drown it out. We let society drown it out. You understand? We let family drown it out. Listen to that voice. Money don't make you happy anyway. Only problem is most black people don't find that out until they spend their whole life trying to get some, and then when they get it, they realize it wasn't worth the fight. And what did Will Smith say? Black people spend too much money they do not have, buying stuff they can't afford
they
to
don't
impress
need.
people they don't even like. Look at that. Going broke to outdo the next black person. Self-hate is still our elephant in the room, y'all.
That's right.
People say, why we ain't solved our problems yet? We got all these educated blacks. Because black people hate themselves.
We don't know how to come together as one.
Have you seen the black conscious community? And these are the learned Negroes. Fighting all over YouTube, cursing each other out all over YouTube, debating every 5 minutes. Ain't building nothing, but we going to debate. Every day I wake up, I got a new hater hating on me for no reason at all. Some of them I knew. Some of my worst haters know me. I'm like, damn, fam. But that's what jealousy does to you. And social network has made it worse because social network has made attention an addiction. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants likes. They want YouTube views. And they'll do anything to get it. So social network has made attention a new addiction. It's worse than crack.